I'm going to make one more annoying video, basically just about time, right? Time in basic D&D and the importance of it. Now, and wandering monsters for that matter. So why do we have, why do we worry about how many turns it takes to move? Or, why does it, checking a lock take a turn, or looking for a secret door take a turn, which is 10 minutes, okay? Now, it's a generalised number. It's just there for ease of use. It might take less, it might take more. But the point is, it takes a turn. These are blocks of units of that we can just use to count time. So a wandering monster check, a 1 in 6 check for a wandering monster is made every 2 turns, every 20 minutes, okay, on average. You can change that depending on the situation. So there's 3 of those checks in an hour. At the end of an hour, you also have to take a 10-minute rest. I think it's 10 minutes. A 10-minute rest. That's another turn. So every hour plus a rest takes time. Now, if you're pushing to get somewhere without encountering monsters, that becomes an issue. Do you want to take time checking for traps along the way, checking for secret doors along the way? Is time of the essence? Do you have to get out of here because you're injured? Or, is this your first rodeo down here? Do you need to be able to push through this dungeon without attracting... Look, you attract one monster, that monster could start making a lot of noise and attract the rest of the crew. And the next minute, they're all come flying down the corridor too, because old mate's yelling out, some stuff. And this is the thing. So you don't want to... I mean, some people might argue and say, I do want to attract wandering monsters because of the XP. Well, guess what? Wandering monsters aren't that much XP. Okay, monsters in basic D&D aren't that much XP for that very reason. Okay, you get XP from the treasure. Anyway, that's digressing. The point is these things are triggered by the amount of time that you take. Now, this happens outside too. So the question arises, like, what's the point of random encounters? Like, what's the point? Well, they create an environment for your characters to thrive in, to immerse themselves in, to create tactical, interesting gameplay. Do you want to take 2 days around the forest, taking the safe road, which is patrolled? Bandit attacks happen, but there's a guard patrol, and you know that if you take this 2-day trek, you'll get there nice and safe. But if you don't get there, the person you're trying to send the message to, because old mate's going to get poisoned, he's going to die. So you've got to get there in a day. What do we do? Let's cut through the forest. Oh, but that forest is full of ogres, and trolls. Everybody knows that. If you go through there, there's a pretty good chance we'll attract a random wandering monster. So that's why we have these sorts of situations. That's why time is important. It creates an environment that the world becomes alive. You've just created a situation where taking a path or cutting through the forest, if you've focused on the world at that point, you've made the world bigger. It's the star of the show here, not your characters. Your characters are just trying to work out how to get there. But that's why tracking time within that world, it creates its own character itself. It's that's why it's so important. And again, people who focus on characters, their characters and their abilities and all this inward focus all the time, they miss this. They don't understand what this does. There's inward focus and there's outward focus, and that outward focus is your environment and the world. And what would Lord of the Rings be? I always use Lord of the Rings. I know, shoot me. But what would it be without those beautiful environments, or looking after all the travel, or all that sort of stuff? That was equally, if not, it was a major part of the story. Okay, all those mountains and the places in Khazad-dûm and the pool, all those things were better than the characters themselves in lots of ways. They were just walking through it. So this is why time and random encounters and all these sorts of things are important. It's because they make the world come alive. They might seem like basic little mechanical things that could be hand waved, but what they do is they create a skeletal base for you as a DM and players to then build upon, to mold around. And rather than just, hey, we went from one city to the next, you've now got a story that evolved. You decided to take the dangerous road, you went through the forest, you found a troll, started chasing you. Turns out he had a captive, you released the captive, now you've got another member of the party, and it turns out, well, the captive was actually a doppelganger, and now it's trying to stab you in the middle of the night. And all of that stuff happened because you took the quick path, or you took or you could have all just died too. I mean, hey, it doesn't always end up as a happy ending, right?